This video will show you how to set up your ZCU104 board to run PYNQ.
You will see how to prepare the micro SD card, set the jumpers on the board, insert the micro SD card, connect the USB and Ethernet cables, connect to the board, power on the board and check the status LEDs after boot. Once the board is running, you will see how to connect to Jupyter and how to access files on the board using Samba. Finally, you will see how to connect a terminal to change the board settings or to troubleshoot problems with the board.
Micro SD cards preloaded with the PYNQ image are available from the PYNQ.io website. If you already have a micro SD card with the PYNQ image, you can skip this step. To make your own PYNQ micro SD card, download the PYNQ image from PYNQ.io. You will need to extract the image and write it to a micro SD card. If you are using Windows, you can use the free program Win32 Disk Imager as shown here. In Win32 Disk Imager, select the image file and the drive letter of the target device, which is your micro SD card, and click Write. We recommend you use a card at least 8 GB in size. If you're using a Mac or Linux, you can use DD to write the image. You can find full instructions for writing the image in the PYNQ Read the Docs. You can find the link to the PYNQ Read the Docs on the PYNQ.io website. Find the dip switches for the boot mode and set switch 1 to on and 2, 3 and 4 to off as shown to set the board to boot from the SD card. Take your micro SD card loaded with the PYNQ image and insert it into the micro SD slot. Connect the Ethernet cable and the power adapter that came with the board. The power adapter is keyed and can only be inserted one way. You can connect the Ethernet port of the board to a switch or router. You will use a computer with a web browser to connect to and program the board. You can connect an Ethernet cable from your computer to the switch or router. If your computer is already connected to the same network as the board, for example, if it is already connected to the router wirelessly, you don't need to do anything else. You can also get a USB Wi-Fi dongle for your board and use it to connect wirelessly to the router.
You can also connect the board directly to the Ethernet port of your computer. With that direct connection to your computer, the board will not have internet access. You will be able to use PYNQ, but you will not be able to update your board or install new packages.
If you connect your board directly to your computer, you will need to manually configure your computer to have a static IP address in the same range as your board. The default static IP address of the board is 192.168.2.99, so you need to assign your computer an address in this range. To configure your network connection in Windows, go to the Network and Internet section in the control panel. Select your Ethernet connection, select Properties, select Internet Protocol version 4, and select Properties again, and set your IP address to the same range as the board. For example, 192.168.2.1.
The power switch can be found as indicated in the diagram. Slide the switch to the right to turn the board on.
You should see the red power LED indicating the board is getting power. After a few seconds, you should see the yellow Done LED turn on. This is a good indication the boot process is progressing successfully. If you do not see this, check the boot jumpers and that the micro SD card is inserted correctly. If you still have problems, you may need to re-image the SD card or try a different one. After the board boots, you should see the 4 yellow user LEDs flash and remain on. This indicates the board has booted successfully and you are now ready to connect. On your computer, open a browser. Chrome is recommended. If the board is connected directly to your computer, you can browse to the default IP address of the board. 192.168.2.99. You may need to configure the IP address of the Ethernet adapter on your computer. If the board is connected to a network, you need to browse to the IP address of your board. You can usually find this from your router or by connecting a USB terminal to the board. The password for the Jupyter portal is Xilinx, all lowercase. You are now ready to start using PYNQ. For problems connecting, see the Getting Started documentation on pynkreadthedocs.io.
Samba is running on the board. This allows you to connect to the board as a network drive to transfer files. In Windows, you can browse to the Samba share using /PYNQ. In Mac OS and Linux, you need the SMB : prefix and a // You can find full instructions for connecting to the Samba share from different operating systems in the PYNQ Read the Docs. In the Jupyter Home area, select New, then Terminal. This will open a terminal as root in your browser. This gives you access to the Linux shell.
To change the hostname, in a terminal, execute the script pynq_hostname.sh. This script is in the user local bin directory. Pass the script the new hostname. This should be a unique name on your network. You will be prompted to restart the board. You can do this by running shutdown-r now. In the Jupyter terminal, you are already running as root, so you don't need to use sudo.
You can also check the network configuration of the board by executing ifconfig in the terminal. You can check ETH0 for the dynamic IP address and ETH0:0 for the static IP address. You can also connect a terminal using the USB cable. This is useful if you can't connect to the board using a browser. You need to have or install a terminal emulator. For Windows, PuTTY is one example and is available as a free download. You need to know the COM port of the board. In Windows, you can find this in the Device Manager under Ports. The COM port number will be listed after the USB serial port device, in this case COM7. Launch PuTTY, select Serial as the connection type. Enter the COM port number and set the speed to 115/200. Click Open to launch the terminal. For further information and support, see the PYNQ web pages.